Hello guys, what's up? Welcome to Java and Data Structures tutorial. Here in this tutorial, I will show you how to sort the arrays using selection sort algorithm. There is not much of the difference between bubble sort and selection sort technique. Only difference is that the bubble sort compares with all the elements and selection sort finds the minimum value of the element from the array by comparing using the same technique applied for bubble sort algorithm. So it may find it a little bit tricky for you to understand this, but the best way to understand it is that keep in mind that bubble sort compares with all the elements and the selection sort finds out the minimum value from all the elements, either minimum value or maximum value depending upon your requirements. So when it comes to your performance, both the algorithms are pretty bad and not recommended to be used for sorting the arrays larger in size. So it's not very good for performance wise. So then too, but the basic mechanism for sorting the arrays has been derived from both this algorithm. Okay, and selection sort is the enhanced version of bubble sort algorithm, but there is not much of the difference in performance. So if you want some high performance algorithm, then you may switch over to insertion sort or radix sort algorithms and all that stuff that we will look into the later tutorials ahead. But let's now start with this selection sort algorithm. Okay, so I will write step-by-step code for you, and we will just discuss the code. And if you find any difficulties, then you can post the comments, or if you are one of my classmates, then you can meet me and contact me and ask your doubts. Okay, so the first basic step is to create the array int arr. Okay, over here I will write int arr, and I will just initialize some of the elements over here, that is 3, sorry, my cursor, 3, 2, 5, 6, 8, 7, any of the elements you want you can initialize over here. Okay, so basically we have initialized some of the elements inside the variable array of type integer, and then we are going to count all the elements. So int count equals arr dot length. Okay, so this will give us 5 because the count is 5. It will count from the first position, not from the 0 position. Okay, and first we are going to print out as usual all the array elements over here. So int I equal to 0, I less than count, I plus plus, and then we are going to write system dot out dot println, fine, and arr of I. Okay, pretty much easy. Let me write over here unordered arrays are as follows so that you can understand it when we are going to print it. Unsorted arrays are, okay, and now comes the main logic part over here. So let's consider some of the numbers over here that are 3, 2, 5 and 6. I will comment it out and just show you 3, 2, 5, 6 and 7. So what this algorithm does is that it will loop through all these elements and will check out for the least element, that is minimum element. Over here we are going to do the ascending sorting of the arrays, so it will check out for the least element. If you are going for the descending order or searching for the maximum value, then you may get the maximum value as 7, but over here we are going for ascending order, so we will get the minimum value as 2. So what this does is it will compare the first element with all the other elements. It will find out that which is the smallest element of all. Okay, the 2 is the smallest of all the elements from these 4 elements. That is which is as position first. Okay, and as it is, it will compare with every other element, that is 2 with other 3 elements, and same way that was with bubble sort algorithm. If you have done bubble sort algorithm, then you may find it very much easier for you to understand this algorithm, because it is purely based on that algorithm. It is just the enhanced version of this algorithm, of bubble sort algorithm. Okay, so int let me get int I equals 0, I less than count, and I plus plus, and the next is for j equals 0, not j equal to 0, j equals I plus 1, okay, j less than count, and j plus plus. So that's it. So the first element will be a 0 at the 0th position, and the second element is I plus 1, that is at first position. So 3 and 2, so we are first going to compare with 3 and 2, then we are going to loop with uh, j plus plus. So we are going to loop through all the next element, that is 5, 6 and 7 after 2. Okay, so first we are going to compare it. Let's initialize our minimum variable over here, int minimum. So int minimum is equal to, let's assume that the at current position the minimum value is at the 0 position. Okay, let's assume that. Okay, so minimum is equal to 0. So let's check it. So we are going to check if ARR of j is less than ARR of I. Okay, then what we are going to do over here is we are going to initialize minimum with the value of j, because j is smaller than I, that is the first position. The first position, this is 3 is at the position number 0 and 2 is at position number 1. So over here we are saying that the ARR of j, which is over here in this case ARR of 1, which is less than ARR of I. Okay, so if this condition holds true, then we are going to initialize minimum variable with the value of j, that is j is 1, so minimum is now 1. Okay, in this case the minimum was 0 because I is equal to 0, and then we are going to just swap out the values. Int temp equals ARR of minimum. Okay, so we want the minimum values to be stored in the temp variable, so that we can store that in inside a 0th position. Okay, and then we are going to store i's value inside ARR of j. Sorry, ARR of min, there is no j over here. ARR of min, fine. And then simple, then ARR of I will contain the value of temp. Okay, sorry, temp. Okay, so what this does is that in temp equal to ARR of min, that is that minimum value over here. For example, assume that this condition holds true, that ARR of j is less than ARR of I. In this case it is true because 3 is the 2 is already less than 3, so minimum equal to j. So that minimum, the value of minimum is over here is now 1. So ARR of 1, which is 2, okay, is stored into variable called as temp, and then ARR of I, which is ARR of 0 is stored into ARR of min, which is 1. Min is over here 1, so ARR of 1 is now 3. Okay, and the temp is now ARR of I. So ARR of I is what? 0. ARR of I, that is 0, because in this the first loop the I is initialized at 0. Okay, so I is 0, and it will give us the and we are storing the value of temp. The temp is nothing but containing the value 2 over here. Okay, so temp is nothing but containing the value 2 over here. So now ARR of I, that is ARR of 0, will contain the value 2 in it. Okay, so the first position now contains the value 2, and the next position correspondingly contains the value 3. Fine, so this is very much simple enough to understand it if you have done bubble sort algorithm. If you're not done with bubble sort algorithm, then I will recommend you, before watching this tutorial, please watch bubble sort algorithm, so it makes your logic much more clear than that. Okay, now the simple, we are going to print out all the elements for int k equals 0, k less than count, and k plus plus, and then we are going to just system.out.println over here, and we are going to write it error of k. So I hope it's clear. Now let's just save it and open our cmd command line, and I will change my directory to Java, and then I will just Java C selection sort dot Java. Hopefully, oh, there are errors, so expected, and we have some serious errors, some silly and serious errors. It's not done. Okay, we sort out the errors now. I hope there's no error now. And it says identifier expected. It's import java dot util dot set, not import dot java, it's import java, so it's my bad. Cannot find symbol J, and we have some serious errors, and I just tend to make all these silly errors because I love to debug my programs than writing it. And we have no errors now, so let's write Java selection sort. Okay, and we have unsorted arrays are 3 2 5 6 7, sorted arrays are 3 2 5 6 7, and we have got some very bad output over here. Let me pause the video and I will just come to you. So guys, I just found out my mistake, that my mistake was that I wrote this code, the swapping part, inside the inner for loop, which was going to be outside the for loop. Okay, so it's not going to work in this way because the logic becomes whole haywire over here. Okay, and this stuff is going to be outside the inner for loop. So basically it is going to first get the minimum value, and then it's going to check, and it's going to then swap it. Okay, so now let's just run it. Okay, and we are getting the errors 3 2 5 6 7 3 2 3 5 6 and 7. These are the sorted elements, okay, in ascending order. So I hope this tutorial was clear for you, and if you still don't get this tutorial, if you can't understand this logic, you can recommend me some of the video tutorials which I can post, which I can upload it if you want. And you can of course contact me anytime you want on YouTube channel. Okay, or if you're any of my classmates, then please meet me. I will sort out your doubts. Okay, so that's all for this tutorial. Goodbye.